Hello, friends, and welcome back to Scaling Stories. Today, I got some more highly upvoted posts from Best of Redditor updates for y'all. Like always, I'll be reading you the posts and giving you my opinions, and I'll also be working on building up my Minecraft world at the same time, so I hope you enjoy. Also, I'm currently only in Spotify's creator program, so watching on there would help me out a ton. Thank you so much for your support. Today's first story comes from the Relationships subreddit. It was posted by bastardbornn on November 9th, 2015, and was titled, I, 24 female, am the daughter of a woman who had a long-term affair with a married man, my father. My future mother-in-law hates me and my mom for this and is trying to manipulate my fiancé, 25 male, into leaving me. Not sure what to do and I need advice. This is my first and probably only post, barring an update. So, basically, I am the child of an affair. My mom fell in love with and got knocked up with me by a guy who was already married. My dad would periodically visit my mom and me until I was about 4, which is when his wife found out about my mom. We never saw him again. Once in a while, I think he sent some child support checks, but I'm not sure. I barely remember him since I was really young when he left me and my mom, and he never visited much, while I was awake or around, anyway. I don't think he was really interested in me, just my mom. My mom had 2 jobs to support us, one at a fast food joint during the day and the other at a strip club, which I didn't find out about until I was 16. She lied and told me she had another job at another restaurant at night. I'm fairly certain my mother was also a prostitute on the side, but I've never confirmed, and frankly, I don't want to know. She had frequent boyfriends, whom she would mooch off of until she got tired of their crap or they got tired of hers. Anyway, fast forward to the present day. I am engaged to the most wonderful man in the world after dating for 4 years and am planning a wedding about 8 months from now. My mother still works as a stripper and lives with her current boyfriend, who is honestly a sweet guy, but is also a deadbeat and alcoholic. My fiance's mother is not so wonderful. She found out, of course, about me and my mom's background and present occupation, and she hates both of us. She's telling Mike, my fiancé, not to marry me because I'm the product of adultery, and I grew up in a home where cheating is viewed as acceptable and permissible, and therefore I will most likely cheat on Mike, and he will have to get paternity tests on any children I have so he's not stuck with some other man's baby. She called my mom a harlot, a SLT, and no good man-stealing trash. Mike's mother has been married twice, and both of her husbands cheated on her. The first one with a stripper, so I can sort of understand why Mike's mom is kind of paranoid and doesn't look with fondness on me or my mom. Mike is upset with the way his mom talks to and about me and my mom, but doesn't know what to do. It's his mom, and he loves her, and up until now, they had a really good relationship. But she doesn't understand why her son, who could have a good girl, would settle for someone like me. For the record, I graduated with honors, have a great job, support myself, and have never cheated on Mike or the other boyfriends I've had. I loathe cheating and do not think it's okay at all. As for my mom, she was, of course, deeply hurt by what my future mother-in-law said. I'll be the first to admit what my mom did/has done in the past is not okay, but I don't hate my mom. She's just a very silly and immature woman who is lacking in common sense but is not malicious in any way. She's actually very sweet and giving most of the time. But she has terrible taste in men and has made a lot of poor life decisions. She says she knows her affair with my dad was wrong, but love is love, and she couldn't help whom she loved. She still views my dad as the one who got away and the love of her life. I think he's the only man she's really ever loved. I remember, after my dad disappeared, her crying her eyes out every night for months and drinking herself into a stupor. Obviously, she's delusional and has never really learned from her mistakes. She lacks basic life skills and has always relied on her looks. She is very, very beautiful and charmed to get by in life. But I know she did her best to be a parent to me, and I know she loves me. Is it too much for me to ask my future mother-in-law to treat my mother with respect? Or me, for that matter? I'm not sure what I can ask of Mike, who feels caught in the middle and isn't sure what to do. He's never had a serious argument or been truly angry with his mother before. He hates what she says, but it's clearly messing with his head because his mom has never been wrong before, which he knows she is now. What can I ask, and what should I ask of my fiancé, and how should I respond to Mike's mom? I want to just cut her out of my life, but I'm not sure that's fair to ask of Mike. I want him to be happy too. I have a short temper though, and it takes everything inside me not to explode at his mom and just verbally rip her to shreds, especially when she said those things to my mom's face. Scaling Stories Corner. Okay, so I think if OP feels what Mike's mom is saying about her mother is unacceptable, then she needs to tell Mike about how she feels, and then Mike needs to shut down his mother promptly. And that's the first step for Mike showing OP that she comes first in the relationship and she can trust him to have her back if they get married. If Mike refuses to step up to his mother, then I'm not sure they should go forward with a wedding because Mike's mom is constantly going to be around and insulting OP and her mother. And that's not a life anyone should want to willingly live. And as for OP's mom, I feel like OP sugarcoated her description a tad bit because cheating is cheating and having an affair is having an affair. And for her mom, this man was not the love of your life. This man was the love of a temporary time period because clearly this man made you pregnant and then literally abandoned you. The rose-colored glasses need to come off right now. And obviously OP's mom is in the wrong for engaging in the affair in every capacity, no matter how she felt about the guy who ditched her. And OP says that she has horrible taste in men and constantly makes poor decisions. And I think that okay, maybe the first time it happens or even the second time, okay, it's not your fault. But if it keeps happening, then something's wrong. At least I think so. I think at some point, some self-reflection needs to be done on what needs to be changed to better improve your life. Because didn't OP say her mom's current boyfriend was a deadbeat alcoholic? Look, come on, we can do better. But regardless of what life OP's mom has lived, I understand that she can still be a loving mother to OP, but not necessarily a good role model at the same time. And I know Mike's mom has reasons to dislike OP's mom, but she's not the one getting married. Mike is. And if Mike wants to marry OP, then she at least needs to be cordial with OP and her mom at least for the sake of her son's happiness. And I can understand it if they're never friends, but at least not this outright open hostility. Now, here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, "Your fiancé needs to be the one who responds, not you. He needs to make it clear to her that an attack on you is an attack on him, that the two of you are one united force now, and the things she's saying are inexcusable. If he doesn't do this, you really must not marry him, because it won't get better, and she'll eventually do everything she can to pry your children from you." OP says, "I know. It's just hard because he's never really been a mama's boy before, but is kind of acting like it now. I know he's torn because they are very close, and it sucks for him that someone he loves and respects so much is bashing the person he loves most in life. It's hard for him to reconcile the two in his mind, but he knows I cannot and will not marry him if he doesn't do something about this soon. I won't be with a coward who chooses his mom over me. I'm just not sure how much is fair to ask. I just need him to do something." Commenter 1 says, "It's fair to ask him to sit her down and say, 'This stops. It stops completely and it stops now. Or not only are you not invited to the wedding, but you're also disinvited from my life.'" OP says, "I could definitely get on board with that. I wouldn't mind never seeing her again." OP says to another commenter, "Oh, I know. I certainly won't. I'm just not sure how much is fair to ask or how to negotiate interactions with an openly hostile mother-in-law. It's also hard because I can't help but feel she has a teensy bit of a point. Plenty of people on Reddit would call my mother the exact same thing." Update 4 days later. Sorry for how long it took to post an update, but I didn't expect my post to get so much attention, and it took a while for it to come off the front page. I want to thank everyone who took the time to comment, even the haters and just generally overall rude and tacky people. Most of you were kind and supportive and helped me think the whole thing through. I really didn't appreciate all the nasty comments directed at my mother. She's really a kind and sweet woman who I dearly love, who has made a few bad choices in life and is too immature/emotionally damaged to see it. At least she didn't abandon me like my dad did. That was also the first and only married man she has ever had any kind of relationship with. However, I know this is Reddit, and a subset of this community just loves any opportunity to judge and bash women for any mistake and thinks they deserve eternal damnation. I guess it was to be expected. Also, clarifying, Mike's dad was actually my future mother-in-law's second husband. Her first husband cheated on her with a stripper, but that is not Mike's dad. Mike's dad also cheated, but it wasn't with a sex worker. It was a mutual friend or coworker or something like that. I'm not sure about the details. Mike is no contact with his father and does not like to talk about him, so I don't ask. Anyways, on to the actual update. I actually showed Mike the post. He was quiet but kind, asked me to let him think about it, and then cooked me my favorite dinner and drew me a bath with scented oils and candles. About a day after I posted, Mike asked me to sit and talk with him. He started off by sincerely apologizing. He said the things his mother said to me and my mom were so awful and brazen that he was taken aback and froze up in response. He said that, yes, his mom has made the odd snippy comment about me or my mom, but he's been good about deflecting the comment and changing the subject. He just never expected an explosion of that magnitude. He then apologized for not addressing his mother sooner, but it had been so hard for him to wrap his mind around it. He said that he deeply loves and respects his mother, and it has been so hard to think about the implications of her actions and what they could mean for his relationship with her. However, his life is with me now, and if he thinks he's grown up enough to get married, he needs to put me first, regardless of his mother. I will say I can understand why Mike is so close to his mom. I'll be the first to say I do not like my future mother-in-law, but she has many admirable qualities. She's very tough and ambitious and strove to ensure that Mike had a happy and successful life despite 2 failed marriages and being a single mom. She's quite successful career-wise. She's just too close-minded and controlling for me to ever like her much. Anywho, Mike said that none of what his mom said affected his view of me, that I'm amazing and beautiful and just perfect, and he doesn't care what my background is. He's still marrying me, and that will make him the happiest man on the planet. Aww. Mike asked me to sit right there on the sofa. He then got his phone and called his mother. I'll relay the main conversation. Mike. Mom? Hi. I'm calling because there is something I need to talk to you about. It's about what you've been saying about my fiancé and future mother-in-law and what you said to their faces. Future mother-in-law starts to argue. Mike. No. Stop right now. I'm not going to listen to this bullcrap anymore. Look, I know how much Tom and Dad hurt you, and I'm sorry about that. I really am. But taking it out on my name and her mom won't fix it or make it better. Jezebel, my mother, isn't the one who cheated on you, and my name didn't exactly choose to be born into the life she's had. Don't you think if she had a choice, she'd have done differently? F. Mill starts to argue and yell. Mike. Mom, shut up and listen. F. Mill. Silence. Mike's never talked that way to her. Ever. Mike. My name is more than good enough for me. She's smart, successful, witty, ambitious, and beautiful. She has a good heart and is going to do amazing things. She's all this in spite of her past. And you know what, Mom? If you think she'll cheat on me because of her parents' relationship, then I guess I'm bound to cheat on her too because my dad was a cheater, and my mom had the bad judgment to marry 2 cheaters in a row. F. Mill. What? But there were consequences. You weren't born from it, and I got them both out of my life. I never said it was okay. It's different. You saw how it was bad to cheat. She was raised thinking it's okay. Mike said she sounded really shaken up. Mike. And? My name didn't have consequences? Because her dad cheated, he abandoned her. Because of infidelity, she had to grow up without a father. Do you think my name wanted that? F. Mill. Silence. Starts to speak. Mike. No. This conversation is finished. If you still want a place at the wedding, you will drop this topic today, immediately, forever. You don't have to love my name or her mother. You don't even have to like them, but you will treat both of them with respect. If you don't, you won't have a place in my life or the lives of any kids my name and I have. My name is my friend and partner, and she will be my wife. Anything said against her is also said against me, and I won't have someone around who is disrespectful and cruel for no reason to me and her. Her mom is going to be my mom. I plan on calling Jezebel Mom because that's what she will be. F. Mill. Silence. Then starts crying. My mother-in-law never cries. Mike. You owe my name an apology. You also owe her mother one, but I can't control that. But I can control what happens in my house. I will not talk to you until you have apologized to my name and are ready to be civil to her and her mother. Hangs up. I was and still am speechless. My fiancé is the kindest person in the world, but he stood up for me and my mother without backing down. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. Mike then called my mom and apologized for his mother's behavior and said he had talked to her and it shouldn't happen again, but if it does, to please not hesitate to tell him. He also asked if he could start calling her mom, and my mom said, "Of course." I know this meant the world to her. He also sent her a big bouquet of flowers for her birthday, which she should be getting sometime today or tomorrow. My mom texted me later, saying she wished she could have been loved like I am at any point in her life, and to please not take what I had for granted. She said she is so happy for me and thinks Mike is the most wonderful guy in the world. I got all choked up and texted her back a thank you and that I thought so too. Still haven't heard from my future mother-in-law, but neither of us expects to for a while. She hasn't communicated with Mike at all either, which tells us she took what he said very hard. It'll probably take a while for her to recover from it. My guess is she'll probably feel like I stole her son from her and have corrupted him. But I guess that's what happens when you marry a conniving sin spawn like me. I really don't care, and it isn't my problem. As long as she keeps her opinions about me and my mom to herself, I'll tolerate her for Mike's sake and any future kids we have. I know for a fact that if she steps out of line, Mike won't have any qualms about cutting her out, so I'm not worried about it. Anyways, thanks again, Reddit. I wanted to share my happy update with you since most of y'all were so good to me. Now, I'm getting ready to have lunch with Mike and start planning our wedding. Bless his heart, lol. Scaling Stories Corner. I mean, that's what I thought too. That Mike's mom doesn't have to be best friends with OP or her mom, because she's obviously giga traumatized from cheaters, but you have to at least be cordial to OP and her mom for your son's sake. Also, I kind of disagree with the babying OP gave her mother, but I kind of understand why she does it because she obviously loves her mom and wants the best for her, and even though her mom has made bad decisions in the past, she still loves OP very much. I just don't like to give people leeway in cases like, oh, they were too immature or emotionally damaged to understand that getting into a relationship with a married man was wrong. And I'm not saying she deserves nasty comments or anything, but I do think she needs to actually start taking her actions and life choices seriously. And the first step to that would be some actual self-reflection and better decision making on the men she gets into relationships with. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. Commenter 1 says, "Mike is a effing stand-up guy. I'll tell you what. You've got a great fiancé, OP. Best of luck to you." OP says, "Oh, I know. I wasn't exaggerating when I said he was the greatest guy in the world in my previous post." Smiley face. Commenter 2 says, "Yay. It really isn't fair to blame the child of such a relationship. I'm glad your fiancé stood up for you. Just prove your mother-in-law wrong that cheating is genetic by living a long, happy, and faithful life with your husband. That is how you win and have a great life in the process." OP adds an edit to her post. "Alright, taking this post down. Getting real tired of all the PMs and posts. My first one, I had a bunch of misogynists. This time, I've got people saying it's fake. Haters gonna hate. Sorry my writing isn't good enough. I don't know what you all wanted. Thank you to those who have been supportive and helpful. I'm happy to be with Mike and planning my wedding, and I don't need any more negativity than already exists. Congrats, you got your wish. I'm signing off forever, and there will be no post-wedding update because I'm sick to death of all the jerks on here being absolute dicks to me and my mother and saying Mike is a figment of my imagination because he's too good to be real. Ciao." Okay, friends, so that concludes our first story of the day. Next up, we have a story from the relationships subreddit. It was posted by underthebusgf on September 26, 2012, and was titled, "My boyfriend, 20 male, acts differently around me, 19 female, in front of our friends to impress them as an ideal boyfriend. Advice needed." Forgive me if this post runs a bit long. I really feel like I have to give context to our relationship before I can explain the problem. There's a TLDR at the bottom, but please bear with me if you have a moment. I'd really appreciate it. Background info. My boyfriend and I have been going out for 9 months. We never went through a dating phase. We were just close friends who liked each other, hooked up, and are now dating. So, we have a very relaxed, best friends feel to our relationship. I'll admit, I wanted to feel more like his girlfriend at times. I've come to terms with us being more friends than a couple. Issue. My boyfriend has a fear of our friends picking a side when we break up, since most of our friends are mutual. As a result, he always acts differently with me when we are with our friends. He will be more affectionate publicly and try to be this ideal boyfriend to impress our friends. A few examples. He will only do things, cook breakfast, do dishes, if my roommates are around to see him help out. He will offer to pay for me when we dine out with friends. I always decline because, privately, he has never offered to pay, only in front of friends. Also, because I know he doesn't actually want to pay. I asked our cab driver to pick up our friends along the way because it was raining. My boyfriend did not want to pay for them, so I said I would. When the cab dropped us off first, he quickly paid for us. After we got inside, he asked me to pay him back. Since the beginning, I've always maintained the stance of splitting the bills 50-50 because we're both broke college students. So, I have no expectation for him to pay for me, ever. But it irks me when he only wants to pay for me if there's an audience. I'm a very private person when it comes to relationships, so the PDA makes me really uncomfortable. My friends have implied to me that I should be a better girlfriend to him because I don't seem to care for him as much publicly. Privately, I do a lot more for him. It makes me really sad because, previously, I wanted to feel like his girlfriend, but he only makes me feel special to impress our friends. To me, I just feel like all this boils down to this. When we break up, he will look like the better person because of the show he puts on. I feel like he's slowly pushing me under the bus. I am really happy with him when we are alone, but when we're in a group, I can't help but feel fake. When I look back and think about it, I get really sad. I really don't know how to address this problem with him. Please give me some advice. ScalingStories Corner. Man, I'm just like facepalming super hard because this guy is such an idiot. Like, why are you performing all these acts in public to appear as a better boyfriend instead of, why not just be a better boyfriend from the very get-go? Like, why waste your effort and brain cells in being performative when you can just be the real thing? It doesn't make sense to me. Literally, the logic isn't logicking unless he's straight up, he doesn't like OP? Like, why is he worried about which friends are going to pick whoever if they end up breaking up? Actually, yeah, this guy must not like OP if he's already thinking about who's going to pick who when they break up, and he's already trying to win people over. So this guy's gotta go. He's a red flag. It's a breakup angle for sure. Now, here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, paying for the cab ride publicly, then requesting that you pay him back is a serious dick move. You don't sound like you really like him, which, from your description, is pretty understandable. Commenter 2 says, you are saying when we break up. It sounds to me that you might have already decided that it's not worth continuing the relationship. OP says, we're both really young, so it's likely that sometime down the road we will break up. So we're not saying we will break up in the near future, but when we do, he thinks our friends will pick sides. I am happy with him aside from this problem, so I want to work past it. Commenter 3 says, good, you're young. Plenty of time to find someone better whom you are also happy with, but who isn't a jerk. OP adds an edit to her post. Pretty much everyone is advising me to break it off with him. I want to keep in mind that there are good things about him, and he does make me happy still. How? I would like to talk to him about the problem and attempt to fix it. If anyone can share some advice on how to approach the subject, that'd be great. Thank you all for your feedback. Update 3 days later. I wanted to thank everyone for their feedback in the previous thread. Here's my updated story after taking in your advice. I'll be honest and say I didn't want to break up with him, despite that being the general consensus. Unfortunately, it worked out that way regardless. I'm extremely sad right now, but I'm heading home this weekend to be with family. Hopefully, it'll take my mind off of things. I brought up the issues in the previous thread with him, and we finally got to the bottom of it. I guess, in retrospect, this was a long overdue talk. I always convinced myself our relationship was okay, but as you all told me, it wasn't. It came down to our relationship being too serious for him. He just wants to go out there and have his fun. After all, we're in college. I told him I wasn't going to wait around and have him come back when he needs emotional support. I'd say we ended it amicably at the time, last night. But I can slowly feel myself resenting him for dragging me along all these months. I just want to thank Reddit for pushing me to have this overdue talk. As sad and resentful as I am right now, I know when I look back in a month or so, it'll be for the best. It's just so bittersweet. Thank you to those who shared their advice. ScalingStories Corner. I just thought about it, but if OP and her boyfriend are breaking up, why can't they just be on good terms and they're breaking up? Why does their friends even need to pick a side? They can just tell them, oh, we just didn't think we were gonna work out, but we're still friends and everything is fine. No? Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. Commenter 1 says, it will remain bittersweet for a while. But remember, it's better to think about a few months wasted now than to let it go and think about a few years wasted down the road. Commenter 2 says, it feels like a waste, but think of all the important things you learned. You learned your limit, what you're looking for in a relationship, how to read people, and how to confront people you're close to. These are all very hard and very good lessons to learn. I'm glad you faced it head on instead of waiting around and wasting more time. Good luck and take care. Okay friends, so that concludes today's video. Leave a like and comment down below to let me know what you thought of it, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.